Hello, this is BBC News. I'm Catherine Biarahang, and I just want to bring you some breaking news now. We're getting reports of a plane crash in India. An Air India flight taking off from Ahmedabad International Airport crashed shortly after takeoff. Video on social media shows black plumes of smoke billowing. It appears to have crashed in a residential area. And I just want to bring you a bit more of what we had from our correspondent in India. And this is reports coming in from Ahmedabad International Airport in Gujarat, saying that an Air India flight taking off from the international airport there crashed shortly after takeoff. There's video on social media of that crash at the moment, and it shows black fumes billowing into the skies. And our correspondent goes on to say it appears that the plane crashed in a residential area. And of course, we're still trying to get information on the ground about this particular crash, the number of people who are likely involved in that crash as well. But this is a significant development coming in from Ahmedabad in Gujarat in India. And I think you can see the maps at the moment on our screens of that particular location of the airport there. And this is Ahmedabad in Gujarat. And so reports at the moment coming in of an Air India flight that has crashed shortly after takeoff. And we're, of course, trying to get as much information as we can about what's going on there in Ahmedabad. And we'll bring you any developments as soon as we get it. What we know so far is that video on social media that's now being posted of this crash shows black fumes billowing into the skies, and this plane, it appears, crashed shortly after takeoff, and the crash appears to be in a residential area. Of course, we do not know yet where this plane was headed, where it was going. But what we can see on our screens at the moment is the initial flight radar of this flight. And of course, as we can see there, this is a very short line there of the flight radar as shown on the map there on this flight radar data. And it appears to show really what we have been reporting there, which is that the flight crashed shortly after takeoff. I'm just hearing in from my director who says that the flight number was flight A171. This is flight A171 that had been taken off from Ahmedabad International Airport. We now understand that this flight was headed to London Gatwick Airport, just outside of London. So this is a report now, confirmation that this flight, an Air India flight, A171, that was taking off from Ahmedabad International Airport, crashed shortly after takeoff, and this flight was headed to London Gatwick Airport. We, of course, do not know at the moment how many people were on this flight, but this is really a significant development, significant story here. At the moment, video that's been posted on social media shows black fumes billowing into the sky. Of course, this flight crashing shortly after takeoff. What we understand from our correspondent in Delhi is that this flight crashed in a residential area. At the moment, the flight radar data that we have, that we're looking at on our screens, illustrating what we know of this crash, that this flight crashed shortly after it took off from Ahmedabad International Airport, and it appears to have crashed, it seems from the flight radar data that we have, just 10 minutes after takeoff. If you're just joining us, this is BBC News, where we bring you the breaking news of an Air India flight which has crashed shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad International Airport. This flight was headed to London Gatwick Airport. We understand that it crashed shortly after takeoff. The flight radar data that we're looking at suggests that it crashed just 10 minutes after it took off. At the moment, video on social media, which we can't show you at the moment, shows black fumes billowing into the sky from the scene of that crash, which we understand to be in a residential area. At the moment, we don't know how many people were on board this flight that had taken off from Ahmedabad International Airport. Of course, we are working very hard to get as much as possible on this, but I just want to bring you a statement coming in from a spokesperson for Air India, saying flight A171 operating from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick was involved in an incident today on the 12th of June 2025. At this moment, we are ascertaining the details and will share further updates at the earliest. And this is that post there, which I was just reading out, and of course showing that the statement from Air India. I'll just read it out to you again, coming in from a spokesperson there, confirming that this flight AI171 was travelling from Ahmedabad and headed to London Gatwick, confirming that it was involved in an incident. And at the moment, they are ascertaining the details and will share further updates at the earliest opportunity. And I just want to bring you an update there, now coming in from the Reuters news agency. The police in Ahmedabad confirming that at least 242 people were on board the flight that crashed in Ahmedabad, and we understand that this flight was headed to London Gatwick Airport. So the initial confirmation of the numbers of people likely involved in this crash, police saying at least 242 people were on board this Air India flight that was travelling from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick Airport. You're live with BBC News. A reminder of the breaking news that we have this morning coming in from India, which is that an Air India flight, AI171, set to travel from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick Airport, has crashed shortly after takeoff. A statement from the Air India company has said that the flight was involved in an incident and they were working to ascertain the information. We can now go to Delhi, and my colleague there, Arunade. And Arunade, just tell us what we know so far about this crash.
Catherine, it's a very, very sort of fast-paced development that we're trying to track. So still trying to gather information as we try and piece together information coming in from various outlets. So we're being very careful about what we're putting out there because it's still, as I said, a developing story and it's a sensitive story. So we're just trying to cross-check everything. So let me just put out the facts for you as we know it, as we speak. The only official confirmation that we've got is from India's national carrier, that is Air India, saying that flight AI-171 operating from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick was involved in an incident. That is per their official statement dated 12th of June 2025. At this moment, they say they're still ascertaining details and will share further updates as and when they do. So this is the official statement coming in from the airline, that is Air India. The other pieces of information that we've managed to piece together at the moment is that this plane crash took place near the airport in Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is a very, very important city in the western state of Gujarat. It also happens to be the home state of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So this has happened in the city of Ahmedabad in western India. What we're also getting to know is that there were over 200 passengers on board that flight. I'm not able to confirm the exact number of passengers, but over 200 is what I can confirm to you at the moment. So that certainly makes this situation a lot more serious. We don't know where exactly the crash has happened, whether it was an open area or a residential area, but it's something that we're still getting information. But we've seen some videos that have come up on social media which show black smoke emanating from the crash site. There are some houses that are visible in the area, but I would hesitate to sort of pinpoint what kind of location this was. We've also tried to piece together some information from the flight radar website to try and understand where the last signals were picked up. It was received seconds after takeoff, which then leads many analysts to believe that perhaps this incident happened moments after the plane took off. But again, as I said, these are all facts that will be looked into as we progress reporting on this story. So the last signal that was received was seconds after takeoff. The situation on the ground remains obviously extremely chaotic at the moment. Rescue teams have been mobilized. This is information coming in from India's aviation minister. They're on the highest alert as rescue teams have been mobilized, is what we're picking up. We're also trying to put together all these updates on the BBC News website as well. So if you want live coverage, you can also log on to the website and get minute-by-minute updates as we try and put all the pieces of information together on this big breaking story. But certainly very, very concerning news. Once again, let me just recap for you and summarize what we know at the moment. Air India, India's national carrier, has issued a statement that one of its flights operating from the city of Ahmedabad in western state of Gujarat was flying to London Gatwick. It was involved in an incident. This took place in the city of Ahmedabad. We know that it was a passenger aircraft with over 200 passengers on board, making the situation all the more serious, being looked at very seriously, which is why rescue teams have been mobilized to head to the spot. We don't know exactly what this spot was, whether it was an open area or not. It's something that we're still trying to understand and get more confirmation about, but we have seen some pictures that have been circulating on social media which seem to suggest that it could also be close to some sort of to population as well. So that would be another area of concern that we would need to watch out for. We haven't gotten any confirmation about the condition or what the situation is at the crash site, but as I said, rescue teams are on the ground and they're on their way. This is still information that is just coming in, so you'd appreciate that we're still trying to really make sense of what really is happening as information comes in thick and fast.